My sister laughed during dinner. "Meet my fiancé, a ranger," she mocked my uniform. Then he saw the patch, froze, came to attention, and said low, "Dana, stop. You have no idea who you're talking to." My sister, Dana, has always had a thing for status. She measures people by their zip code, their watch, and most of all, their title. In her eyes, I was always the disappointment. While she climbed the ladder in corporate PR, I was away. She told people I was traveling because she was embarrassed to say I was military. To her, being a soldier was for people who couldn't get into a good school. She spent years turning me into the punchline at family dinners. I usually stayed quiet. I'm not the kind of man who needs to brag. And here's the part I never said out loud, the part that cost me more than I let on. A piece of me believed her. Not the words, the verdict underneath them. That I disappeared from this family and nobody had come looking. You can sign off on 12 operators and still flinch when your own sister calls your life small. It started young. When we were kids, she was the one with the report cards on the fridge and the trophies on the shelf, and I was the one who got quiet and went outside. By high school, she'd already decided what I was. The brother who'd peaked, the cautionary tale she could point her friends at. When I told the family I'd enlisted, she laughed at the dinner table and said I'd finally found a career that didn't require me to win anything. My father studied his plate. My mother said, "Dana, that's enough." But quietly, the way you say it when you don't actually expect it to land. Nobody made her take it back. That was the lesson I learned that night and carried for 15 years. In this family, Dana set the temperature, and everyone else just dressed for the weather. I didn't tell them what the job actually became. The selection that broke better men than me. The places I went that don't have names on a map. The first time I had to write a letter to a mother. They thought I was guarding a gate suddenly, and I let them, because correcting them would have meant handing Dana a new thing to weigh and rank, and I'd learned to stop handing her things. Last night was her engagement dinner. She'd booked the whole family into an upscale steakhouse to meet her fiancé, Caleb. She'd been bragging about him for months. A real hero, she called him. A ranger with more commendations than you could count. I came straight from base. I was exhausted, still in my service uniform, and honestly, all I wanted was a steak and to drive home before I had to feel anything. Jacket on, sleeves rolled, the patch from my unit visible on my shoulder. The second I sat down, Dana's face soured. She didn't say hello. She looked at the uniform and let out a sigh loud enough for the next table. "Seriously, Marcus? You couldn't change first?" She swirled her wine. "We're at a 5-star place, and you look ready to fix a truck." She shook her head. "So embarrassing. Some of us have careers we're proud of." The table went silent. My parents stared at their plates. I took a sip of water and felt the old thing happen in my chest. The small drop. The part of me that was still 9 years old and waiting for somebody to take my side. "It's a uniform, Dana," I said. "Not a costume. Low-level job, let's be honest." She laughed and turned to her friends. "Everyone, this is my fiancé, Caleb. He's a ranger, elite. The guys who do the actual hard work, while Marcus here probably guards a gate or whatever it is he does." Caleb walked in a moment later, built like a door, perfect posture. Every inch of him read Tier 1. Dana lit up and clung to his arm like a trophy. "Caleb, babe, this is my brother Marcus," she said, voice dripping fake sympathy. "Try not to talk too much about work. I don't want him feeling bad about his little service record." Caleb started to smile and reached out to shake my hand. "Good to meet you, He stopped 3 inches short. His eyes weren't on my face. They were locked on my right shoulder, where the rolled sleeve exposed the patch. I watched his jaw tighten, watched the blood leave his face in under a second. His hand lowered, his back straightened. Under the table, his heels snapped together with a click the tablecloth couldn't hide. "Dana, stop!" He didn't shout it. He didn't have to. You have no idea who you're talking to." Glasses stopped moving at the tables around us. The waiter with the water pitcher froze mid-step. My mother dropped her fork. Dana blinked twice. "Caleb, babe, don't be dramatic. It's just—" I said stop. I'd never heard him use that voice. Neither had she. But that voice wasn't pointed at me. It was pointed at her. And she didn't understand why her fiancé suddenly sounded like a soldier addressing a civilian. I said nothing. Took another sip of water. The glass had gone warm in my hand. Caleb stayed standing. He didn't sit. Arms tight, chin tucked. He wasn't looking at me anymore. He was staring at a point on the wall behind my head, the way men do when they're waiting for an order. "Sir," he finally said. The word dropped between the plates like a coin into an empty glass. Dana let out a short laugh. "Sir? Caleb, are you joking? That's Marcus, my brother." "It's your brother," Caleb repeated without moving. "And he's exactly the kind of soldier you've spent 2 months mocking in front of me." My father set his napkin down, said nothing. My mother looked at Dana, then at me, then back at Dana, like she was recalculating something she'd long ago decided she understood. One of Dana's friends, the blonde in the green dress, reached for her purse under her chair. The other, a co-worker from her firm, went completely still, phone in hand, screen dark, listening. "Caleb, sit down," Dana said quietly. "You're making a scene." "You made the scene." I looked up.
Want to hear how it ends? Catch the full video on my YouTube channel. Link in bio. Subscribe for more top-tier instant karma.